Today, we look at the career of the first world-colored heavyweight champion. How good was the Black Thunderbolt, C.C. Smith? Charles Smith was born on May 3, 1860, in Macon, Georgia. It is noted that his exact birth has been disputed. Smith stood 5 feet 11 inches. He had an aggregate weight of around 189 pounds for his career. Smith's career spanned from 1879 to 1903. He had 40 wins, 14 losses, and 5 draws. 32 of his wins were by knockout. He also had 4 no decisions and 1 no contest bout. His win percentage was 61, and his knockout percentage was 48. Smith was associated with the heavyweight division. Smith was an explosive fighter who was well built for his size. Smith started his career as a bare-knuckle fighter and reportedly had over 200 fights. Smith fought the best fighters of the late 1800s who would step in with him and would have been a viable challenger for the world heavyweight title had the color line not been drawn. Smith started his career 20-0, with 1 draw and a no-decision bout with Black Diamond Harry Woodson. During this time, he laid claim to the World-Colored Heavyweight Championship in 1876. His first notable fight took place on August 16, 1883, when he fought debuting heavyweight Jack Stewart in New York in front of a standing-room-only crowd in Harry Hills. The two fighters started quickly, drawing blood in the hard-fought contest. Smith focused his punches upstairs, while Stewart invested heavily in the body early on. The tide turned by the second round and Stewart was in full control as Smith had faded from the pace of the fight. This forced Smith's corner to throw in the sponge, handing Stewart a second-round TKO victory. The two would rematch in Canada a couple of months later, fighting to a 6-round draw. On December 15, 1883, Smith would meet the future world-colored heavyweight champion, Charles the Professor Hadley, in East Saginaw, Michigan. The two men would fight to a 4-round draw. A rematch took place on February 2, 1884, in the same location, with Smith winning via second-round disqualification. On January 18, 1885, Smith would fight to a 6-round draw with Old Chocolate George Godfrey in Boston. Godfrey would go on to become a colored world heavyweight champion. Smith and Godfrey would rematch on August 15, 1892. This time, Godfrey was able to show his class as he knocked out Smith in the 4th round of the contest. In August and September of 1892, Smith would gain a draw and victory against black middleweight contender, Frank Craig. Smith would step into the ring with a then undefeated prominent black heavyweight contender, Joe Butler, in October. Butler would pick up a 3rd-round knockout victory. On November 21, 1892, Smith would step in with the California Terror, Joe Choynski. Choynski was one of the greatest technical fighters in boxing history and knocked Smith out in the 4th round. Smith would lose to Hall of Fame heavyweight Peter Maher in their February 14, 1897 contest. Exactly 1 year later, the two men would rematch with Maher, knocking Smith out in 3 rounds. Smith's last significant fight was a 7th-round knockout loss to light heavyweight and heavyweight contender, George Gardner, on December 25, 1898. Smith faced 3 Hall of Famers. His most notable fights were against Charles Hadley, Hall of Famer Joe Choynski, Hall of Famer George Godfrey, and Hall of Famer Peter Maher. C.C. Smith died on October 1, 1924, at 64. He is often forgotten but was one of the great black fighters of his era and helped to push the sport forward. With his claim to the World-Colored Heavyweight Championship, he essentially lit the torch as all other prominent black heavyweights that followed benefited.